Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I am Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup, I love all things skincare, and I especially love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. Yes, we do. Okay, so I was fully prepared to be in bed all day today and just relax, and then this showed up on my doorstep. Yes, this is the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 3 palette. So I had to drag my little behind out of bed and get ready to film for you guys. So that's what we'll be doing today. I'll be giving you guys my raw first impressions, thoughts on this palette. I'm going to do 2 to 3 looks, give you all the product details, some live swatches, you know the deal. So let's just dive in. Okay, so first things first, I have to show you guys because I just think that it's hilarious. This is the Danessa Myricks palette. This is what they sent it to me in. I have to lean back. Like, I just thought that it was hilarious that they sent this giant packaging for this little palette. I ordered my palette directly from the Danessa Myricks website. So I got the Danessa Myricks packaging. And in addition to the Lightwork palette, I also got a couple other things. Very securely bubble wrapped, I will say. So I also got the free mini Lightwork Volume 3, and this I will be gifting to a friend. Check out Enamored Beauty if you haven't followed her on YouTube yet. She does have a channel, absolutely amazing. She's my shade twin and my sis in makeup, so I'll be gifting her the Danessa Myricks Lightwork, and I'll show you guys that too. They also included some samples of their Vision Flush, which is lip, cheek, and eye color. And some samples of, it looks like this is the foundation. So it's the 2-in-1 foundation concealer. So that is what I got when I ordered from the Danessa Myricks website. But let's dive into the details of this palette. So this palette retails for $125. You all already know that I am very skeptical about paying full price for makeup, so let me just say off the jump, I did not pay $125 for this palette. I know a number of people bought this from Beautylish during their gift card event and got like a $20 gift card back. I thought that was a scam, so I actually bought this from Danessa's website because when you purchase from her website, you can use, or at least at that time, you could use the code FACEFLAWLESS and get 20% off of your order. So I actually got this palette for 20% off, which made this $100 instead of the $125, and I got the free mini palette. So I think that in terms of value, I wasn't mad at paying $100 because of what I got. Now, here is what the packaging of the palette looks like. It comes in this snakeskin type box that is actually quite textured, and then when you open up the actual box, the palette is the exact same design as the packaging, textured as well. On the box, it does have all of the product details. So if you need to see, the ingredients are here, the shades are here, including the shade names, and it gives you some details about the different types of formulas that are on here. Now, one thing I thought was strange is that the box, neither the box or the palette tells you the shelf life of this palette, which is kind of weird. And I was wondering if that's because there is a mix of formulas in here, so both cream and powder. So I don't know if some expire faster than others, but there is no shelf life on the product itself. So just to be mindful of. Now, this was made in China. I'm not mad at it. We'll get to all that. It was made in China, and what you're actually getting is an all-over face multi-use palette curated with 14 out of this world galactical shades in multiple mesmerizing finishes, holographic powders, duochrome gels, pressed glitter, powder creams, and multi-chrome pigments. So again, here we have the packaging. Like I said, you get that snakeskin texture. I will say that it is quite thick, quite chunky. And then when you open it up, so you do have, where did it go? You get some protective layering on the shadows, but then when you open it up, these are the shades here. Now, I don't have any special lights on, so this is in direct sunlight you guys are seeing from my window. And it's beautiful. So like I said, it is very chunky this is all cardboard. So in terms of packaging, I will say that it does feel a little cheap, and for $125, I'm a little bit disappointed in the packaging. But given the amount of formulas that we have in here, I'm gonna let that slide for now. We have two gel shades here. I believe it's 4 multi-chromes. This is a pressed glitter and this is a cream powder formula. And then in the middle are the 4 holographic shades. So let's just dive into some swatches and see if we can get some looks today. So I'm just gonna go top to bottom. So I'm gonna swatch this row, then this row, and then this row. So here we have the first 5 shades, i.e. the top row. So this is the pressed glitter here. This is that cream shade. And then you can see the other shades here. So first up we have Polaris. Wow. Jeez Louise. And this has a very strong shift. Next we have Galaxy. That's also very creamy. Martian. Soul. And lastly, oh, how am I gonna do this? Orion. This is the pressed glitter. So this is the first row. Next, I'm gonna go into the holographic shades in the middle. And these are the 4 holographic shades. You can see in the pan, they looked really white, but on my finger, you can really see some of that flip. So first up, we have Golden Eclipse. Strawberry Moon. Oh, that's pretty. Spring Equinox. And Blue Moon. So there you have the 4 holographic shades, and you can really see the shift in these shades on my hand when they looked really white in the pan. Now for the last row. And here we have the last 5 shades. This is the cream to powder matte black, or the powder cream matte black. And then we have a couple of those multi-chromes here. First up we have Spacesuit. Oh, that's pretty. Aurora. Gaia. Solarian. And Black Hole. And there you have it. These are all of the shades in the Danessa Myricks palette. But I hope that you guys can see the multi-chrome shifts in these shades. They are very strong, I will say that. Even in the pan, they are quite strong. And I will post some pictures of this on my Instagram so you can see how strong the flip is. This is beautiful. Wow. Okay, first thoughts, Gaia, absolutely love. I am obsessed with the shade Gaia. This reminds me a lot of Pat McGrath's Extraterrestrial, or even probably her Sextreme shade. Galaxy is just literally out of this world. Stunning. Okay, so here's the deal with this palette. This is definitely an artistry palette, which I know is not everyone's kind of typical idea of makeup. Now, this is actually my first Danessa Myricks palette. I have never bought anything from her, and I was never actually really intrigued by anything from the brand. But this palette caught my eye because when it comes to makeup, I feel like everything on the market just kind of bores me a little bit at this point. But this I thought to be really, really interesting. And part of the reason why I never bought from Danessa before is because of the fact that she deals with a lot of cream products. My skin type is definitely more oily, acne prone, so I tend to veer away from cream products because I think that they don't last very well on my skin type. But I was like very intrigued by this palette, by the price, by the different formulas that you were getting in here. So I decided to pick it up. Now, like I said, it is an artistry palette. So you only get one matte in this palette, and that's the black shade. Everything else is this sort of multi-chrome formula, duochrome formula, cream formula, holographic formula. So you might, and I should probably say definitely will need to dig into another palette to create a look. So I pulled out my Blend Bunnies palette. This is a rainbow palette. I actually haven't even touched this one yet to help me with this look, because I will need to add some mattes in there. I don't think I can just lay down some multi-chromes. Honestly, I can. You can. You can just lay down some multi-chromes and go, but I want to have a couple of matte shades in there. So I'm going to be digging into this palette. So I'm just going to go into this shade First Kiss, which is a kind of nude beige shade. And I'm going to use that as a bit of a crease color. That is a really nice shade that can be used to like buff out a lot of colors. Now I'm gonna dip into that black shade in the Danessa Myricks palette. I'm gonna use that in my outer corner just to give a little bit of depth. Now this is one of those creamy matte shades. So, you know, think like Natasha Denona's cream to matte formula, which I know people either hate or they love, which I actually quite like. It's one of those that you need a little bit of a denser brush to work with, but I don't mind that. I think that it's actually a very nice, unique formula. And this black is opaque. Like this is super pigmented, but it is blending out really well. So you see how really intense that black was, and I was able to diffuse it out really nicely. That is what I like. Now I'm gonna try with a brush first. Let's go into the shade Gaia, which has a very strong purple to green shift. So I'm taking my Pract brush. I don't even know what this is called, but Pract is the Sigma sister brand. Ooh, that picked up really nicely. Let's just try adding that directly onto the lid. That's actually a really simple look right there. I don't know if you can see a lot of the shift on the eyes, but what I actually think I want to do is take this Equinox shade here and just dab that on top of the center of the eye. Now again, it looks white in the pan, but it has a green shift to it. So I want to see what that does to the green in this eye look. Oh, that is pretty. It's almost giving this halo effect. I'm just gonna buff everything together. I like that a lot, actually. Okay, let's go into this eye. So for this eye, I want to start off with these two pink shades here from the Blend Bunnies palette. And I'm just going to blend that into the crease. Next, I'm gonna go into the black shade again and use that in my outer V. Then taking my finger, I'm gonna go into the shade Aurora and put that in the center of the lid. This has such a pretty shift. This is definitely very similar to Sextraterrestrial, if not almost identical. The flips are the same, but you know, the formula is different. And then taking a really small brush, I'm gonna dip into Strawberry Moon, which is one of the holographic shades. It has a pink flip to it, and I wanna put that into the inner third of the eye. beautiful. Okay, I'm not gonna do the waterline for this because I do want to do a third look, so I'm just gonna wipe this off and come back and give you guys one final look. But I want to come in a little bit closer so you guys can see the first two looks. I'm enjoying this. This is fun. This is funsies. Okay. Let me wipe these two off and then come back with a final look. Okay, I'm back. I wiped off the first two looks. My eyelids are sad. Oh my God. I'm not designed to be doing multiple looks because I can't keep wiping off makeup and putting it back onto my eyelids. My eyelids just not set up like that. But let's do one final look for you guys. Actually, I'm gonna give you all two more looks. We're gonna do one on this eye and one on this eye. Now, I have not played in these cream shades yet, so I definitely want to give that a try. And I have been obsessed with the Galaxy shade, and I haven't touched the pressed glitter, so I want to at least try to give you all a feel for all of the different formulas in here. So I'm gonna go into Mama Bear from the Blends palette first, and use that as my crease shade. Then I'm gonna go into the black shade, Black Hole. Like I said, this is the only matte in the palette, so I'm kind of relegated to using this in every eye look. So I'm gonna go into the cream shade Spacesuit. It has a very strong orange yellow shift. I think even a little bit of pink in there. But I'm gonna put that into the center of the lid. Ooh, yeah, it's definitely a strong pink shift. Now this is a cream shade, so I expect that with time it will crease. My eyelids are not typically oily, so I'm not particularly worried about that too much, but you know, a cream is a cream is a cream. It will do what creams do. And then after cleaning off my brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Soul and put that in the inner third of the eye. This is a powder, so I am getting a little bit of fallout from it, but honestly I think it's by virtue of the brush that I'm using, which is really dense. And I am blending that into the cream shade as much as I can. Again, we're working with two different textures here, so never done that before. Actually, I've never actually worn a cream eyeshadow before, so lots of firsts here. Okay, so that's how we're looking. I really like this. I'm going back in with a little bit more of the cream shade. Trying to be real careful because I think the more cream I add, the more likely it is to crease on me. Then I'm taking a clean brush and I'm gonna try to blend the black into the cream a little bit so that there isn't a harsh line. Basically, I'm just trying to blend everything together. I am liking where this eye is at, so let's switch into this look. I'm gonna take First Kiss again and put that in the crease. Then going back into the black shade, I'm gonna use that to deepen up the crease a little bit. I think I'm gonna give myself a bit of a halo eye here. So now that I've laid down the brown and the black together, I'm gonna go into Galaxy. Stunning shade. Like, this is the first shade I wanted to put on my eyes, if I'm being honest. And I'm going to be using my Marc Jacobs brush to pick some of that up. And I'm going to try to do a halo eye. So I'm going to add that into the inner third and then the outer third of my eye. This is picking up so well with a brush. Okay, and now that I have sort of the inner and the outer part applied, I'm gonna go into the pressed glitter. This is the shade Orion, and tap that into the center of the eyelid. Pressed glitters are not my thing. I typically do not like them. Okay. And I'm not using any glitter glue or anything. I'm just taking this on my finger and tapping it into the center of the eyelid. And it seems to be sticking pretty well without any adhesive. And there is zero fallout on my face. Then I'm gonna go back into the brush that has the Galaxy shade on it and just blend the top of that together. And then going back into the brush that had that original brown shade, I am just gonna blend the edges. And then taking the brush that I've been using with the black shade, also just blending the outside of that. It's all about the blend. All right, let's do the waterline for both of these eyes. First, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the black shade and then apply that to the outer part of both eyes. For the inner half of this eye, I'm gonna go into the Martian shade, which is another multi-chrome shade. So I might be messing things up and putting that in the inner half. And then for this side, I'm going to take the shade Solar Rain and put that into the inner half of the eye. Okay, so here's what the eyes are looking like right now. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to add some liner, some mascara, and then I'll come back and show you guys how I use the holographic shades as highlighters. Okay, so I'm back and both looks are done. Let me come in a little bit closer so you guys can see both of these eye looks, and then I will apply the holographic pigments onto my face as highlighter. Okay, so I'm very happy with both of these looks. For the pigments, like you guys saw in the swatches, they have very different tones to them. Now, because this eye is definitely that blue eye look, I'm gonna use the Blue Moon shade. Again, it looks white in the pan, but when you swatch it out, you do see a blue shift to it. This is powder base, so I found that it's very, very light. The brush picks up a ton of product, so hopefully this doesn't go overboard too quickly. Ooh. Oh wow. Trying to buff some of that out a little bit. But this is definitely one of those blinding type of highlight shades. Now, this is definitely a pigment you can use on the eyes as well. Like if you want to put it over a black base, or if you saw in that first eye look that I just tapped it on top of another shade. So you can really see the blue shift there. And for this eye, I'm gonna use the Golden Eclipse because I think that's the only one I haven't used so far. So I cleaned off my brush, tapping very lightly into that. This one is more of a pure yellow pigment, so it should show up as more yellow gold on the face. Oh, it has a pink tone to it. Interesting. It's a little bit more pink than I thought it was gonna be. I'm adding a little bit more. Okay, so here you have Golden Eclipse, and here you have Blue Moon. Okay, it's time for my final thoughts on this palette. Da, 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 da. Drum roll, please. So, the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 3 palette. When I saw this palette, like I said, I was really excited to try this out. I was a little bit turned off by the $125 price tag because, you know, when I think $125, I think Pat McGrath. So I went into this expecting Pat McGrath quality, not the same formula, but quality, which I think is fair. I think if you're paying $125 for a palette, any palette from any brand, you should expect quality. Let's talk about the packaging. Now, while I do like the snake skin and the textured feel of this packaging, overall, I think that this packaging is actually pretty cheap, and I'm very disappointed in that. Now, I know a lot of people think it's not the packaging, it's the quality of the products in there, which I completely understand. I agree with that, up until the $50 price tag. From like $20 to $50, I understand if the packaging isn't all there because you're spending money on creating quality products. But once you get to 65 and up, I expect the packaging to have a little bit of extra oomph, because when you dive into high-end and luxury makeup, you're not just paying for the makeup, you're paying for the experience. You're paying for that luxury vibe. And part of the luxury vibe is the packaging. So I was very disappointed in the packaging, because while I do like the snakeskin piece of it, once you open it up, you have this thick, chunky, basic cardboard layer. At least with Pat McGrath, you'll get the lacquered packaging. With Natasha Denona, you'll get the really nice leather packaging, or whatever the case is. So there's that. Now, let's actually talk about the products within the palette and whether or not that makes it worth $125. So you do get, 14 shades here, and you get a variety of shades. Now, I know a number of people were concerned about the fact that this is made in China. A lot of high-end and luxury products are made in Italy. So the fact that this is $125 and made in China, I know it kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. No, because it's made in China does not mean that it is poor quality. Just, you have to understand that first and foremost. Also, you are getting very multi-dimensional shades in here, which is why I can understand the price is higher. You get multi-chromes, you get dual-chromes, you get cream, you get powder, you get so many different textures, so many different formulas that are expensive to make. So I can understand why that brings this palette up so much. Now, when it comes to the actual formula and quality of these products, I thought that they were really easy to apply. Now, you only get one matte shade, so you will need to dig into other palettes for this palette, just generally. This is an artistry palette. It is what it is. If you went into this thinking that this was going to be a normal everyday palette, I am so sorry. That's not what it is. This is for people who want to try something different, who want to go out of the box, who are into more editorial, more artistry looks. So because of the fact that it is an artistry palette, there is some working with it. There is some avenues of having to be creative to come up with looks, which I actually don't mind and which I appreciate, because I don't have anything like this in my collection. And this really does push me out of my comfort zone. So I look at this as a companion palette that I can reach for at any time. The holographic shades, I really appreciate them. Now, I did not think that I was going to like them, because it's like, I don't need 4 highlighters. But you can actually use these shades to top on top of any of these shades, or on top of the black shade itself. So I do think that there is a lot of versatility in here. And while they look white in the pan, they swatch completely different. So overall, would I recommend this palette? Honestly, it's hard for me to recommend anything for $125. Just off the jump, whether it be Danessa Myricks, whether it be Pat McGrath, whether it be Natasha Denona. I really think that when it comes to palettes or makeup of that price at all, I think that that needs to be a very personal decision if that is the price point that you are willing to spend. Do I think that the quality is there for the price? Honestly, I do. I think that it's a very quality palette, and I am very happy that I have this in my collection. Now, it is definitely not up to me or anybody to tell a creator how much they should price their palettes for. So I am not going to say that this is not worth the price because of X, Y, and Z. Now, we have all been buying Tom Ford for years, myself included, and Tom Ford gives us 4 shades, the same 4 shades at that, every year for $88 to $90. So if we could spend $90 on Tom Ford and Charlotte Tilbury, who gives us quads that are what, $56, $56, that has again 4 shades for that price, me personally see no problem paying this price point. I am very happy to see another Black woman in the space of luxury makeup. Like, I love Pat McGrath for that, and I'm very happy that Danessa Myricks is entering it there. And I feel a lot more comfortable putting my money into a brand like Danessa Myricks than buying the same 4 shades from Tom Ford every time he releases the same palette. Okay, so I've pretty much run out of sunlight, which means that this video needs to end. So in closing, I really enjoy this palette. I am happy that I have it in my collection. It might be a little bit overpriced, but it is what it is. I don't regret paying for this. If you do want to pick it up, definitely wait for a sale. I don't know about the sale on the Danessa Myricks website, but the Sephora VIB sale is coming up, so you can get 10, 15, or 20% off there. So if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed seeing me do 4 looks for you guys, I would love it if you would give this video, I can't speak today for some reason. Everything is tongue-tied. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would give this video a big thumbs up. I would also really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel and leaving a comment down below letting me know whether or not you will be picking up this palette or if you have already picked it up. And that's it from me today, guys. As always, love you guys, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.